So tonight we will meet the candidates for sheriff. First, I'm going to introduce Bilton Morgan. He joined the U.S. Marine Corps after high school and was honorably discharged in 1988. He settled in Cecil County with his family and has continued to serve his country and his community. He started his law enforcement career in Cecil County Detention Center as a correctional officer under Sheriff Jack DeWitt until he transferred to Patrol Division and was eventually promoted to sergeant. He retired in 2006 to accept a position with Armor Holdings, where he spent 18 months testing ballistic vests for the military during the height of the Middle East crisis. In 2007, he returned to law enforcement as patrol corporal in Northeast Police Division and is still serving the people of Cecil County. And we will also meet tonight Sheriff Scott Adams. He is a lifelong resident of Cecil County. He's a proud husband and father of 3. After graduating Rising Sun High School, he gained an associate's degree in law enforcement and corrections technologies from Cecil College before moving on to Towson University, where he graduated with dual bachelors in criminal justice and psychology. He is also a graduate of the National Sheriff's Institute. He has been with the Cecil County Sheriff's Office for more than 30 years. He has worked in patrol, investigations, K-9, dive team, and school resources. In 2006, he was awarded the Outstanding Community Service Award by the Cecil County Health Department. In 2009, he was named State Deputy of the Year by Maryland Sheriff's Association. In 2014, he was Officer of the Year for Maryland DARE Officers Association. 2015, he was presented with the Distinguished Service Award for Outstanding Community Service by the Rising Sun Little League Board of Directors. And 2017, he was voted Law Enforcement Executive of the Year by the Maryland Center for School Safety. So I would love it if candidates would join me up here, take a seat, and introduce yourselves as well. Take your seats.
So to not make this political to start with, so that's why I wanted you here, because I know you would agree with this. So I do want to have a moment of silence just for the 2 Pennsylvania State Troopers that lost their life last night, with all the tragedy and on our hearts. I know it's yours, so we can have a moment of silence for that. Thank you, appreciate it. So with that, I just want to say out of the gate some perspective on my understanding from a lot of different levels. I've been to a lot of graduations of deputies over the last 8 years. So I was just at the most recent one speaking to the parents and talking about understanding from, I've sat in those seats and graduated myself and gone through that. I have had a lot of deputies go through and sit in those seats and come out and work the job and spoken to parents and understand their concerns on that side. And I've had a son sit in that seat and graduate and work the job now. So I have a broad range of perspective on a lot of different levels to understand. So and I'm going to tell you it's different on each one. So especially with my own that's working there, so it's just a different level of how it works. And in today's environment, you could imagine. So I guess you just want us to kind of overview. Is that we're just overviewing and then questions? Okay, 10 minutes. Okay. So what I want to do is kind of describe what I've done for 8 years, some of the new things we brought on, where we are now. You're going to get to hear actually hot off the press. It's not even out official yet. This is our 2021 annual report. So we every year, if you go onto our website, you can see the annual reports from when we started 4 years ago. So and look up and read and see how the crime statistics are, each unit, what's happening in the sheriff's office. If you weren't aware, you should go ahead and certainly check that out. I only brought some very limited data with the report itself. It is over 40 pages long. It breaks down each unit, what everybody does, different people at the sheriff's office, and so it's great information. So over the last 8 years, so some of the new units that have been created under me, so we started when I first came in with the community resource unit. I saw the need for that, to get out, to reach out to the communities, to talk to communities, to see what was going on in each community out there. Our county is a great county. It's still a great place to live and work and have kids and play. But it's unique and different in different areas, so we needed to touch on that and make sure we were fulfilling the needs of different parts of the county. So we started the community resource unit, which does a great job. And with that came along social media. So we have a strong social media presence now, which was never, we didn't have before. You know how social media has kind of changed the world, and in my opinion, 99% for the worse. But it's there. So on our end, on the sheriff's office, it's great for us to disseminate information to you. So whereas before we were relying upon either rumor or media, no offense to media that's here, but sometimes the media doesn't get it right on what they put out. Our local media is good, but it's better to not rely on them since you're getting correct information out in a timely manner and what we need to get out. So that was a great change to bring that on. Canines. So canines are very important in the crime fighting that we do in 2 levels, on drug detection and on apprehension. So I increased canine units, brought them back to having up to 4 canines. The problem with canines are they age out. So you have to continually look at when you're going to replace canines. And there's also an current issue with, if you're following current Maryland legislation where marijuana may be legalized, if that's the case, it's going to affect a lot of dogs in the state. Because if your dog's trained on marijuana detection, it pretty much just makes your dog useless. So our dogs are aging out right now anyway, so we are looking to add 4 dogs, so that was kind of in play. So if we weren't, and you had these dogs trained on marijuana, and a lot of agencies do, it's going to be an issue. The UAV unit, so that's a drone unit, has been a great asset to us. We've used it in a lot of different kind of cases. The first one, right out of the gate, when we started that unit, we solved a burglary, a multi-state burglary, and recovered about $500,000 worth of stolen equipment with that. So that was an outstanding, and it continues to be well used, and it has, we find new uses for it every day, actually. Traffic unit, everybody knows traffic's a problem. We have miles and miles and miles of back roads in Cecil County. People drive too fast, and they do. So in the past, we had no even reconstruction. So we had, if an accident occurred, we had to turn that over to the state police. That's now all handled within ourselves. We have our own unit that handles that. We have reconstructionists who can handle everything up through multi-fatal accident, crash reconstruction. DRE is that's a drug recognition expert. So as we see more and more of the opioid epidemic happening and people driving under the influence, not necessarily alcohol, but drugs, it's hard to detect that. There's specialists in our world, in the police world, that are called DREs, drug recognition experts. So we've never had one in the past, and we relied on other people to hopefully have one working, and it's harder and harder to find a DRE every day. So we did get a certified DRE with the sheriff's office. We have one currently, and they are hard. It's a very hard course to get through and pass, but that's critical, and I think we're going to see more and more the need for that going into the future. Pretrial unit and detention. So detention is shifting gears and changing, especially how it occurs, especially with COVID happening, where it used to be, you might have heard the term of work release, where people would come in, get sentenced in, live in, work out, and still have their jobs. Well, with COVID situation, you couldn't have movement in your jails. So we had to make everybody had to make adjustments to how that program worked. Also during that time, we certainly had an overpopulation. We were flooded in the jail, so we were still intaking, but not outgoing because the courts were shut down. We couldn't send people, even sentenced inmates, to DOC, to Division of Corrections. So we were stuck with that. So pretrial became necessary, and it's actually working out. We started a pretrial. We had about 25 people in the pretrial unit. Today we have 100 people in pretrial. So they're monitored through our pretrial staff. Some are home monitoring, some have to report it at different levels and different, and there's matrix on who can be on that. So we're not going to put violent people out in pre-trial. We have a crime analyst who helps do all the annual reporting. We have a monthly meeting on Thursdays, an intel meeting where it's our agency, state, local police comm, feds, and we talk about all the crime trends from the previous week. And it's intensely helpful. We solved many crimes with this. I've got to speed up because I'm never going to get to it. But so she was very critical and does a great job. Heroin coordinator, speaking of the opioid epidemic. So under grant through the governor's office, I have a heroin coordinator, works directly under the sheriff's office, and does great work on tracking all things under the opioid situation, the bags, and trying to help law enforcement with that issue. That's a huge issue. We have our own special response team, SRT now, whereas in the past we always had to rely on the state police, the state team. We have our own SRT team now that responds out to critical incidents. I thought my time was up.
Good morning.
Is that a 2-minute warning?
It wasn't meant to be, but
Okay.
Sorry.
Mobile field force, which is that's ride control units. So as you know, what's been going on in the past with all the unrest that happened over time, we had our own countywide mobile field force unit, which operates under us, that we could respond if we had a riot type situation that was going to happen. So that was certainly necessary. And we have a crisis negotiation team, CNTs they're called, who are specially trained if we have barricade situations or people in crisis and that can go out and talk and try to talk people down or bring them out of situations without violence. So and we've assisted a lot of agencies around us, up into including our last call out for our CNT was the state police called us out to assist them on that. We have a new CID, new Criminal Investigation Division office. So we did some building renovations. We added on 2 suites of space with for our criminal investigation side. We added a suite into for a training area. So we're constantly needing to expand. So when I first started this job, Maryland State Police were primary law enforcement in this county. They had probably 80 troopers out there, and we had 18 of us or something like that. So that's totally reversed. So everything falls to us to handle now for the most part. Troopers are super short at the Barrack and Northeast, so we're handling the majority of the calls. So in training, we do, one of the huge things I've increased is training. So we have our own detention center academy now, which is awesome. So whereas before correction officers we had to send them out to another academy. We run our own academy now, so we can, the correction officers we bring in and train for other counties as well will come in and go through our training academy with us. So it saves us the cost of sending them out and retraining them to our policies when they would come back. So we do all that in-house. We have a lot of professional development training that came in. So we have FBI National Academy, which is a huge honor. I just put a post up if you saw that, where we just had our second graduate from that. Lieutenant Joe Wilson just graduated. It's a 10-week leadership course that's ran through the FBI. People from all over the world get invited to come to this training. And it's very selective to get in. So we have Captain Steve Brownhill. He was our very first National Academy graduate that went in 2017. And we just had Lieutenant Joe Wilson graduate. We do all of our supervisors all the way down through, we're at corporal level now. We're sending them all through New Jersey Command and Leadership, which is a West Point Command and Leadership school that they go to. It was in New Jersey, now it's hosted in Pennsylvania. So they go through this course, and it's a great leadership course. We do ALICE training, which is the active shooter training for schools, which we have a lunch set up this week, which we're doing. ALICE training, we've done a whole bunch for businesses and communities and county government and everybody that we provide that ALICE training for, which is critical and it's awesome and it works great. I feel, again, school safety is a huge concern of mine, and it's a big part of what I did for a long portion of my career. And it's critical. And our guys that do this do a great job, and I know the school system is very supportive and obviously has us continue to come back to do that training. We also have ALERT, which is the law enforcement response to that. So it's advanced law enforcement rapid response training. So if we were responding to one of those critical shooting situations. Also brought in LEOSA, which is the training. So in the past, we never had, the Sheriff's Office didn't have its own yearly qualifier for retired law enforcement to be able to keep their certification to carry their weapons. So you'd have to go to another agency to get that. So we supply that ourselves now. So we have our own range masters that go out and keep our retired law enforcement through the Sheriff's Office, LEOSA certified, so they can carry. And I bring in all kinds of in-house training, street crimes, and FBI LEADA, which is another leadership, executive leadership course. So we host trainings we can at our agency, saving us money. So we get free spots in that, and we have a lot of other agencies come in. Recruitment retention is critical right now. You're going to hear, like, so nationwide, you know, law enforcement is losing people. We don't have pools of people wanting to come to do this job anymore. We were demonized terribly, and it's hard to find people to come and do the job. So we have been recruiting at, you know, everywhere we can. Cecil College, Hartford College. Our FOP has a college program where if you come work for us, you can go to get your college degree for free. We have, we go to multiple job fairs every year. We have social media recruitment page. We have sign-on bonuses in both law enforcement and corrections. We advertise on Indeed, on policeone.com. Everybody is critically in need of staff, so it's very critical.
I want to cut you off.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Yep. So I have a whole bunch more, but we can get through that in questions, I'm sure.
We'll plan this very well. I like that. We
We
want
can
to.
switch, whatever you want to do, Sheriff.
Where's the night, are you talking to about this?
You did very well.
Now you get 15 minutes instead of 10.
I've made a prepared statement, so it might not take the full 10 minutes anyway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to speak with you all. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Bilton Morgan. I'm running to be your sheriff. I'd like to take a second for this allotted time to tell you about me and why I'm qualified to be your next sheriff. I served this country as a Marine in the United States Marine Corps from 1984 to 1988. After receiving my honorable discharge from the Marine Corps, I joined the Cecil County Sheriff's Office, where I was assigned to the jail until attending the Hartford County Sheriff's Office entry-level training academy. On graduation, I started my law enforcement career as a patrol deputy. After spending time on the streets in the patrol division, I was transferred and given the opportunity to work in multiple other units, where I was tasked with many responsibilities. I retired from the Sheriff's Office in 2006 as a patrol sergeant. I took a brief break from law enforcement until filling a patrol vacancy with the Northeast Police Department in 2007, where I continue to serve the citizens of Cecil County to this day. I'm sure everyone's wondering why I'm running against a two-term sheriff. There's no question of the current sheriff's past accomplishments during his first term. My concern is what has not been done during, I messed that up again, excuse me. My concern is what has not been done during the last 3.5 years of his second term. The unfortunate reality is very little has been done during his second term to advance our agency or community during this time, and it shows. The Sheriff's Office, the drugs, and the crime plaguing our county is out of control. I'm standing here saying more can be done, and my administration more will be done. I will address the following to stop the victimization of our community and our citizens. The agency does not belong to this or any administration. This agency belongs to the deputies who serve it daily and the citizens who they serve. Just keep in mind, this is not an inclusive description of my plan, but only a brief outline of my intentions. We have a zero tolerance for drugs and crime. Order that all drugs and drug use violations be enforced at a zero tolerance level. I believe the drug epidemic in this county is one of the primary issues that drives other crimes into existence. Crimes such as murder, rape, robbery, gun violence, assaults, thefts, and so on. Upon taking office, I'll immediately implement a Cleaner Cecil initiative. It's a proven program coupled with zero tolerance enforcement will provide the necessary resources to address the root issues behind the addiction. This program does not only address the addiction itself, but the mental health issue that go hand in hand with the addiction. I've already spoken with some key people to put this program in place with minimal cost to the citizens. The Cleaner Cecil initiative will partner with the county government, the state's attorney's office, the district and circuit court judges, the state and local health departments, proven recovery centers, medical professionals, and with other public and private organizations to bring all the vital pieces together into one location to implement a true recovery lifestyle. Some will say recovery, that's not the business of the sheriff. I'm standing here or sitting here today saying it is. You can't have drugs without a byproduct of crime. Hindering the flow of drugs in our county is the sheriff's business, as well as providing necessary resources to the drug abuse victims and their families. One is equally as important as the other. Drugs are illegal, have no place in our county. Under my administration will be known, if you're a drug dealer, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. We will find you, and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Let's move to the community partnership. Take it down a little bit. If elected to be your sheriff, I vow the following. I'll rebuild our community partnerships while leading our agency with complete transparency and a true open door policy. I will not be an absent sheriff. I will be in your communities. I'll be present at your town halls and be at your community events. I'll be publicizing and advertising a different weekly place and time for Coffee with the Sheriff. Coffee with your Sheriff will be a chance for the residents of Cecil County to meet directly with me in their hometown communities and discuss the issues and topics which are important to you in those communities. I'm also planning on creating and implementing an auxiliary deputy unit. It's a program rewarding an opportunity for county residents to serve their communities directly. We'll provide all the necessary in-house training to the auxiliary deputies and educate them on multiple topics, including but not limited to the policy and procedures of the Sheriff's Office, traffic control, defensive tactics, community relations, and so on. Members will have the opportunity to represent the Sheriff's Office in their communities daily. The program will invite and welcome dedicated involvement from the community while providing direct transparency into the operations and dedications of the Sheriff's Office. Both private and public funds are available to fund programs such as this and will be taken advantage of to the fullest extent. The manpower and patrol in the jail. Clyde Shuck, who's a software manager of a multi-billion-dollar corporation with thousands of employees, said, "There's no bad employees, only bad managers." I find this statement to be 100% true no matter the business, and keep in mind the Sheriff's Office is a business. According to the Sheriff, the agency has 11 vacancies within its patrol division and more than 40 vacancies within the jail. This does not account for the more than 5 additional deputies who are going to be resigning from the Sheriff's Office within the next couple of weeks to go to neighboring agencies. The Whig released an article from a recent interview with the Sheriff about this very topic. The Sheriff blames manpower shortage on larger national law enforcement shortage and the defunded police movement. I cannot totally disagree with this statement in that part. But the mass exodus from the patrol and the jail is not a new thing. It's an issue that's been hidden from the public view for the last several years with only minor efforts to fix the deficit. Only now, it's an election year, this issue is being addressed. We've got a common sense and achievable plan to address the unacceptable and dangerous vacancies in both divisions. Unfortunately, the damage to the vital structure of the agency cannot be fixed overnight. It's going to take time to pick up the pieces, to redirect, to reallocate, and to start moving forward in the right direction. My plan will be immediately to restructure, redirect, and launch a new recruitment division utilizing traditional recruitment avenues along with direct targeting of surrounding community college, job fairs, Cecil County high schools, and even Maryland Police and Correctional Training Commission approved self-sponsored academies. Also opened a lateral application to qualify out-of-state Pennsylvania Act 120 laterals and certified applicants in a greater attempt to recruit the best qualified candidates for our agency. I'll direct this unit to hold monthly testing dates and expedited hiring processes for certified and experienced officers. I have personally performed the duties of recruitment and background investigator. I know this process can move faster than it currently is. In closing, I'm sitting here in front of you today vowing to be an active voice in Annapolis. I will not be a part-time attendee nor only attend for photo opportunities. I will be present and heard. I'll be present to represent you. I will be present to represent the Cecil County Sheriff's Office and the best interest for law enforcement in our county. I will not stop fighting for what is right, for our communities, for our agency, for our deputies, and for our constitutional rights. I'll take every opportunity to work with the lawmakers to ensure that our communities will have a voice and be safe. I will be hard on crime and will be unwavering in our fight. I'll fight to ensure our Second Amendment rights are protected and not infringed upon. Shall not being infringed means just that, shall not. I'm vowing to take that fight to Annapolis and stand side by side with other like-minded law enforcement professionals. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to speak with you directly. So much more than what I've had the opportunity to speak on must be done to get Cecil County Sheriff's Office back on track. Thank you again to the host for this opportunity. I look forward to meeting and speaking with every one of you.